Hello everyone.
everyone.
I'm Leo. I'm the husband, and I am a writer.
I'm Anne. I'm the wife, and I am an artist. In this channel, we share a unique perspective from a Japanese couple coming from a nation with a world-class history of being recluses.
Japan was a closed country, known as Sakoku, for 215 years, from 1639 to 1854. Basically, leaving or entering the country was strictly banned. But here is the thing, this trend might still be alive today. Even though the Japanese passport is one of the most powerful in the world, the ownership rate is shockingly low.
According to the Japan Association of Travel Agents, in 2023, only 17% of Japanese people held a passport. Compare that to 42% in Korea, 50% in the US, or 60% in the UK and Taiwan. We have to admit, it is exceptionally low.
Of course, economically, most Japanese people could travel abroad if they wanted to, but they don't. In a way, modern Japanese people are continuing Sakoku isolation by their own choice.
Born and raised in such a country, we politely ignored the patriotic advice of friends who said Japan is the safest and best place, and ventured out. Here we talk freely about the humanity and cultural differences we've experienced.
We love discovering and understanding differences. Studies show that toddlers ask over 20 questions an hour at home, but by elementary school, that drops to just 2. Eventually, we learn that adults don't appreciate endless questions, and we bid farewell to our curiosity. But when we travel abroad, that pure, childlike wonder returns.
Everything is overflowing with differences. Our entire collection of common sense becomes meaningless. Isn't that wonderful? So let's embark on this exciting journey of differences together.
Our first destination is Korea. I've often been told by English speakers that Japan and Korea seem quite similar. Just as many Japanese people struggle to distinguish the nuances between European nations, it is quite easy to imagine how difficult it must be for those outside East Asia to differentiate between Japan, Korea, China, and Taiwan. But even from far away, we hope you enjoy the distinct flavors of both Japan and Korea.
We have visited Korea many times, but today's theme is humanity observed through transportation. We made a fascinating discovery while riding the subway in Seoul. When the train arrives and the doors open, if there are no passengers waiting to board, the doors shut instantly, truly in the blink of an eye.
In contrast, Japan operates strictly by the clock. The train moves according to the schedule, regardless of whether anyone is there or not. This tiny difference perfectly illustrates the cultural divergence. Korea's priority on speed versus Japan's obsession with rules and precision.
This became even more vivid when we took a bus in Korea. Japanese buses adhere strictly to the legal speed limit and drive quite slowly. They are incredibly safe, but undeniably slower than general traffic. This is true even on expressways, where there are no traffic lights and higher speeds are permitted.
In fact, you often see stickers on the back of buses and lorries that explicitly state, "This vehicle observes the speed limit." It sounds like a corporate declaration of compliance, but it also feels like a passive-aggressive assertion. If I'm in your way, just overtake me already. If you drive a long distance on a Japanese motorway, it becomes essentially a racing game, where you are constantly dodging slow-moving buses and trucks.
Also, there is a mysterious unwritten rule that drivers shouldn't eat, even when the bus is stopped. They must perform a kind of professionalism that implies, I will focus solely on driving for the customers without even taking a bite, the meaning of which is rather unclear.
In June 2023, a complaint regarding a bus driver went viral on social media. A driver travelling a long distance on the motorway stopped at a service area for his designated break. The crime? He stepped off the bus to eat curry rice at the food court. A passenger actually called the company to complain about this. You probably don't understand the logic. Well, neither do I.
All I understand is that there is a minority who believe drivers shouldn't be seen eating by customers. Just for the sake of Japan's honor, I should add that the vast majority of people don't care about such things.
On the other hand, our bus experience in Korea was a stark contrast. The buses we took there were incredibly fast compared to Japan. Once, the bus was moving so fast that when the driver slammed on the brakes, I genuinely felt my life was in danger. We even had the interesting experience of watching our driver get pulled over by the police for speeding from the comfort of our seats.
Korean vehicles seem to prioritize speed over traffic rules in general, clearly reflecting the Pali-pali hurry-hurry culture. It's a trade-off between safety and speed. Personally, for short city hops, I prefer the Korean need for speed. But for long-distance motorway travel, I'll take the safety-obsessed Japanese bus.
There is also a memorable experience that transcends mere speed. Once I was trying to catch a bus in central Seoul. Since it was heading to the countryside, it only ran once an hour. Given the bitter Korean winter, I was desperate not to miss it. But arriving 10 minutes early, I found a long queue. It was clear I wouldn't make it onto the next bus. As the bus arrived and people piled in, it became packed with standing passengers. Finally, I was standing right in front of the door, at a loss for how to spend the next hour. Then, perhaps feeling pity for me waiting in the freezing cold, the driver told me to get on. I thought, what? There is absolutely no space left. There are people standing in the aisles. But then, the driver told me to sit on the steps of the entrance. I love this humanity-first culture of Korea, something rarely experienced in Japan. Sandwiched between two emotions. Is this legally okay? And thank God I made it. I spent the winter evening sitting on the steps until my destination, all the while praying, just please don't speed and crash this time.